Okay, this is just a comparison between the G2 Millennial and the Taurus G3. This is mainly a size comparison. The G2 Millennial does have a updated model, which is the G2C, and I don't know what features they changed on that, but I do know that the G3 is basically an expanded platform. It's just this platform in a full size with some refinement. So just looking at the size comparison here, the G3 has several different magazine options, mainly based on what your state allows for capacity. What you see featured in this one, the G3 right now, is a 15 round magazine, and I'll also show you what the 17 round magazine looks like. Thickness is pretty much the same there. Obviously the barrel is much longer on the full size G3, but the length with the 15 round mag is pretty much the same. Because of the angle of this, it's basically the same length vertically. But when you put the 15 round magazine, and I'll show you, it's got a really nice mag release. It really just shoots that out. When you put the 17 round mag in, it does have this sleeve right here to make up for the difference. You get a pretty noticeable size difference there. With the G2 mags, they also shoot out pretty well like that, but just not quite as smooth. Could be this finish. The G2 mags, 12 round was the maximum you could get. They have this really shiny, almost a sticky finish to it, whereas these have a nice matte finish. They're really smooth, and they have the same round indicators as the Glock magazines, which I think is pretty cool, whereas the G2 only has just the 6 and 12. You're either going to get this with two 10 round mags, two 15 round mags, or one 15 and one 17, based on where you live. As far as the function of the pistol, one of the first things that I've noticed is that with my hands, they're a little larger. I have plenty of real estate. It fits my hand very comfortably. The stippling isn't any more raised, but it is more fine. If you compare it here, the stippling is a lot more fine on this, and it gives it a much better grip. It's a lot more tacky, but it doesn't really eat into your hand as much. Same design here with the safety and the mag release. Or I'm sorry, yes, the mag release is the same, but the safety and the slide release are the same. As far as the way it feels, racking the slide is very, very noticeably more refined. The tolerances are very tight. It sounds a lot smoother, and it just feels smoother. It's substantially lighter. I would say it's probably 20 or 30% lighter than the G2. And I don't know if that's because you just have more hand on the gun when you're racking it. I mean, it's definitely just the spring itself is a lot lighter. And you can see that the triggers are similar. They both have this blade safety, but if you look closely, it's pretty thin on the G2. On the G3, they made a huge improvement, and they pretty much tripled the width of that blade safety. And it's the majority of the trigger pad now. And they did lighten the trigger as well. So the trigger pull is extremely smooth, extremely just crisp. In comparison to the G2 even. The G2 has a nice trigger, but it's just not as refined and not as crisp. And it is a little bit heavier of a pull. They both have that classic restrike capability where if you squeeze the round off there and it's a dud, nothing happens there. You do have the ability to restrike, so this pistol features that. Obviously it's got more room for a longer Picatinny rail. It breaks down the exact same as the G2, and internally safety functions the same. Overall, it is a very, very quality feeling pistol. Not to say that the G2 isn't, but personally the G2, it was never fully there for me just because of its size. It isn't quite large enough. As you can see, my hand it rides right at the bottom of that magazine. One thing I thought was pretty cool is that it flawlessly will run and accept the largest capacity, the 17 round mags. And I know that you could get sleeves that will fit, so if you wanted to run a 17 round mag in your G2, you can. So I thought that was pretty cool. But you know, you can pick one of these up right now for $239 on sportsmanoutdoorsuperstore.com and have it shipped over to your local FFL dealer, and then just pay like a $20 transfer fee. And you can even get it 1 day, 3 day, or 7 day shipping. You pay $20, you can get it in 3 days. Right now, this is what you can get as far as options. As many of you know, the G2 comes in so many different colors: purple, turquoise, gray. They've got, you know, the matte black slides, the stainless slides. They don't currently offer, as far as I could see, any other options. You get the matte black slide and the black frame, and that's it right now. But in the manual, I saw that it said it comes with a stainless slide as well. So that's obviously something that Taurus is going to do. As far as all the colors in the frame, you know, I have no idea if they're going to do that or not. I'm sure that they'll offer maybe a gray. I don't know if they'll go with all the other crazy colors, but essentially for $250, you know, you can get this full-size pistol that has an absolute proven platform right here, the G2, that it's built off of. And you get so much more refinement with this pistol compared to the G2. So if you're looking for a full size 9mm with a very high round capacity, 17+1, just sort of as a big brother to the G2, this is a really good pistol. Of course, you'll get the lifetime warranty like with any Taurus product. You know, you register it online. They've got great customer service. They answer the phone pretty much right when you call, and you really don't have anything to worry about with it. So a couple of differences real fast before I close it up. The round indicator is different. It just gives you a peephole, versus when this one was loaded, it would raise this little plastic piece. Other than that, I know they're going to offer a version with night sights. And again, you know, look out for maybe some of the other finish options. This slide release is a little bit tight compared to the G2, but it's getting looser as I use it, so I think that's probably just something that needs to be broken in. And the reset is just incredible. So $250 G3 compared here to the G2.